Hey everybody, welcome back, and if you're new, thanks for coming. My name's Paige, and today's topic is 4 tips for recovery from binge eating disorder. We all know that recovery from any addiction is very hard, and it takes a lot of commitment and willingness and readiness to achieve it. For someone struggling from binge eating disorder, recovery is especially difficult because they're facing the recovery and the addiction from something that is readily available for us and all over. Rather than something with an addiction is something that we have to chase and find. But with food, no matter where we turn, it's always there. So somebody recovering from binge eating disorder, it can be especially hard because they're constantly around their trigger, so they have to learn how to fight it almost 24/7 a day. So what you need to focus on is building a stronger and a more positive relationship with food, and rather than fueling your emotions and emotionally eating, you just need to fuel your body to survive and get its nutrients that it needs to live a happy life. So unlike other drugs, we don't have the option to replace our addiction. So instead of doing that, we need to learn how to have a healthy relationship with food. So rather than filling our emotional needs, we need to fill our nutritional needs and to eat and to fuel ourselves to survive and to live a happy life, rather than being upset or depressed and turning to food to fill our emotions. But at the end of the day, all it's doing is causing us more distress and grief and more of a stronger addiction that will have to beat. In order to do this, the first thing we need to work on is avoiding temptation. You're much more likely to overeat if you have junk food in the fridge, so be sure when you go grocery shopping, you only get nutritional foods and as much as you need for that week. So you're avoiding binge. You have given yourself set food for that week or X amount of days, and that you know you have, so you can't get up and go into the cupboard and reach for a bag of chips or a chocolate bar because you know it's not there. So avoiding and beating the temptation, you're 100% setting yourself up for success because you're not leaving yourself to fight with yourself if I should eat this or not. If you fill your cupboards up with unhealthy food and you have the goal in mind to not eat unhealthy and to fuel your body for what it needs to survive, you're giving yourself a headache and a challenge by just having it sit there in your cupboard rather than just avoiding it and not having it at all, to avoid your temptations and to set yourself up for success and to live a healthy life. Another one is listen to your body. You need to decipher the difference between emotional eating and physical hunger. So if you ate recently and you feel like your stomach's not rumbling, the chances are that your body's telling you that you emotionally need it and not physically need it. So take that chance to see how you're feeling and to see if you're in distress or something's bothering you, and to decipher what you can do to change that so it doesn't happen again. Another one, eat regularly. I cannot stress this enough on the changes you will see if you achieve this, because eating regularly will satisfy our hunger and our body to avoid binges throughout the day. So if you set up meal times and schedule times that you know you're eating, your body will become accustomed to that, and it won't be asking to binge or feel so starved that you're reaching for all the unhealthy food in the cupboards. This way you feel balanced. You know when you're hungry, it's time to eat, rather than knowing you're hungry and binging or feeling your emotional needs. After a couple of weeks of doing this, your body will become accustomed and start to realize the regimen it's on, and it'll become easier and easier throughout the time. Another tip is fighting boredom. This could be the hardest tip, and I know for me, in my hardest stages, fighting boredom was my number one concern. Because when I was alone and I was bored, that was always almost going to lead to a binge 9 times out of 10. So avoid getting yourself in these stages where you're being super bored and try to entertain yourself. Yes, right now with COVID, I know it's a little tough, but now that things are changing and we're allowed to do more, it'll be easier for us to get out. I know once the nice weather comes, it'll be so much easier for us to do this, because in the winter it's hard because we're stuck inside. But just try to keep your mind busy, because you know in the end you're just going to achieve not binging that day and to get one step closer to recovery and leading your healthy lifestyle. Things you could do to avoid boredom are take a walk, call a friend, read, any kind of hobby you like to do, just something that you know will pass the time, or even just talk to a family member, or just engage yourself with something or someone that you know your constant thoughts aren't going to be about binging or food or your eating disorder. Instead of eating mindlessly, eat mindfully. So slow down, enjoy the textures, and hear yourself chew and actually enjoy the food. And you'll notice you'll actually eat less because you'll be able to tell yourself when you're full and satisfied rather than chomping right through it all and just overeating every time because you can't even stop to tell yourself if you're full or not. So try that for a couple days. Mindfully eat rather than mindlessly. So you can be in control of your food and your mind when you're eating to just get one step closer to the recovery process and leading the life you want. Another one is delay. Delay, delay, delay. Even if it's hard, just try to wait it out a minute and then push it to another minute and just play whatever kind of mind games you need to play with your mind to try to beat that binge. I know for myself, the cravings last anywhere from like 3 minutes to 20 minutes. But if I just delay myself and distract myself for that time being and tell myself that I can beat it, it'll work. Oftentimes I tell myself that just for today I won't binge and tomorrow I can, to give myself that satisfaction that tomorrow I can fuel my eating disorder mind and binge. But the chances are by the time you get tomorrow, you're not going to want to binge. So you have just achieved beating that with telling yourself that just for today I won't binge and I'll live a healthy lifestyle. One of my last tips is identify how you're feeling at that time. Dig deeper. What's the issue and why do you feel that you need to binge, or why do you feel that you need to do these behaviors on yourself and act negative? Enough sleep at night. When we don't get enough sleep at night and our body feels deprived, it'll crave anything and everything bad, sugary, carbs, fats, because it's feeling like it needs to fuel our body quickly to survive because we're deprived from our sleep. But it's craving everything that our body doesn't need and will eventually just make us crash harder and will do no good for our health. So be sure that you are getting the sleep that you need at night, because the changes that you'll see in your eating habits and just your mental health overall will be so huge, and you'll be wondering why you didn't do this years ago. Because I know myself, I thought 3 or 4 hours a night was good. But if you just give yourself a solid 6 hours a night, the change that you'll see in to just get one step closer to the recovery process and leading the life you want. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Paige. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.